This is Mario. Beloved, as always, but today in particular, we got to start at the beginning. So let me dig deep to find all the gratitude I can to express to you how overwhelmed I feel to be back behind a microphone speaking to my beloved audience. So, beloved, yes, from the depths of my being, and of course, with the natural and delicious flavoring of Armstrong ice cream, beloved, I welcome us all to this afternoon of information and enlightenment. Because we certainly did not anticipate it, didn't in any way expect it, beloved. And when it hit, still couldn't believe what was happening, but hey, things happen, and here we are as proof of the pudding that things do in fact happen. And for a month, yeah, for a month, we could not be heard and could not explain why. But my boss, yes, my boss, Josh, did his best to explain to me what the problem was. And the only thing I can tell you is, beloved, there's something named capacitors. Capacitors, I think is what he said. And he is learning about them. I am not, but somehow or the other, they seem to have caused us a truckload of problems, beloved. Uh, we are only too grateful happens to now be behind us because we have a lot of information and enlightenment to catch up with. So here we is, beloved. And as usual, we got to tell you that beautiful Aisha, she is on the left hand side of the stage. Yes, better got caught me. And she said she can't wait for 3:30 because, beloved, yes, indeed, the Crucian history question will be with us. If it is in Spanish, it's 3:30. No, if it is in Spanish, it's 3:30. That's how we got. And in the Danish language, it's also 3:30. But in Crucian, it's 3:30. You say 3:30. Yes, beloved. So we will be visiting beautiful Aisha, the Lady of the Scarman General, 3:30 for the Crucian history question. Because, beloved, we have been missing out on a lot. And I could only imagine it. I know we probably still have a ton of people. There's a whole heap of people that still don't realize we're back on because they love it been such a long time. It's been a long time. You know, imagine that from the end of June, from the end of June, so that beloved, here we are at the end of July, a month. Unbelievable, but yes, uh, we somehow was able to do that. Oh, Mr. Liston B. Monsanto Sr., beloved, he sent me a copy of his latest book, The Summary. That's the title, The Summary. And I am going to well, pay a quick visit at the top of the hour and let you know uh, what, what I thought about this summary in my little review that I will share with you. So that will be at the top of the hour. But for now, beloved, I am beside myself like a young boy on a birthday. Yeah, he gets at my birthday at Christmas time. I am so excited. Can't get myself together because, beloved, I still can't digest it. Can't find a way to process it in my mind. That just like that, out of the blue, we were shut down. Not a way to say shut down for a month that we couldn't explain to anyone. We'd ask her, what going on, man? What there? And I said, I wish I could tell you, but the only answer was, we don't know. We have technical issues. And my boss, Josh, is working on it. And we will be back on the air as soon as possible. Well, that, beloved, is why I am so beside myself because you could not have convinced me at the time that it would be a month. I mean, I said, you're crazy. What are you talking about? We're going to be out for a month? No, man, no, stop it. But unless, beloved, that is what happened. And here we are now. What God is the home stretch. I guess so. This is the home stretch for primary election, which to us is the first Saturday in August. And that just happens to be this Saturday. Saturday, August 1st, we have primary elections. which could just as refer to as Democratic primary elections, because it didn't make we get Democratic parties in our democracy. We have a Democratic Party. Yep, a Democratic Party. And what they tell me is that no matter they says the primary elections and whatnot, but the winners in the primary election will be the winners in the general elections in November. And it's very hard to dispute that because, beloved, we have a one-party system. And it's been that way now since the 1960s. And I'm left to conclude that we like it so. Because as much as we talk about it and we criticize it, we don't do anything about it. And so it's continues to be a one political party in this unincorporated territory of the United States. And again, as much as we criticize the situation, I don't know of any serious attempt to change the situation. It is what it is, and pretty much people would say, hey, beloved, whoever comes out the winner in the Democrats' gubernatorial primary, that's your next administration. But we got a whole lot of other candidates that could be going up against the Democrat. Yes, we know. We know. And beloved, that is what is so frustrating about our politics is that, yes, beloved, we do in fact know that there will be any number of independent candidates who will be running against whichever team wins the gubernatorial primary on Saturday. We know, but yet I'm still beloved. The talk out there is, it don't matter. So it's a lot of them. Last time around it was Vele that everybody knew, but again, Danosaur was there too. I mean, but this time there's a little more than a handful. But the argument remains the same, is that, beloved, this is a one-party system, the Democratic Party of the Virgin Islands. That is it. And so whosoever emerges victorious on Saturday, whichever team wins that Democratic gubernatorial primary on Saturday, that's what they're telling us. That is the administration that will be sworn in come January. But Mario, you could say, I mean, there are people who have never run for politics before, never run for governor before even. And you can't just dismiss them. And I said, it even me dismissing them, you know. I would love to embrace them and love to see a competitive election right down to November. But, beloved, this is our reality. It's not what I have decided should be our best. Well, our best choice going forward. I can't say that because it is not about which the best choice, unless it's confined into again the reality that we only have one political party, and so it's then we just simply choosing as to which is the best Democratic Party choice. And I think there's three of them. Yeah. It's Donna Fred Gregory and Rodney Moyet. As a matter of fact, and that's why they come to mind because they were the only team to sit and interview with us, and I won't hold it against the others because, like I said, beloved, we've been half there for a month, and so we can't say that anybody avoided interviewing with us for the primary election simply because, well, we weren't on the air. So I wouldn't go there. But nonetheless, that was the one team that did get a chance to sit with us. So it's Donna Fred Gregory and Rodney Moorhead. It's one, and then the other team would be Stacy Plaskett and Pata. What's Pata's first name? I don't remember. And then the third team is Trinidad Rouge and Hanover Francis. And those are the three teams vying for the nomination to be the nominee for the Democratic Party in November. And that is basically what we're talking about here. Beloved, that whether I like it or not, it doesn't matter. That is the reality that we've been living with since the 1960s, that uh, what used to be the Martin Pestle Unity Party took over the Democratic Party. And so, since the 1960s, the Unity Party changed their clothes and stripped the Democratic Party from its allegiance to St. John and St. Croix and put on its St. Thomas clothes. Yes, it put on the Martin Pestle Unity Party clothes, and the Democratic Party overnight was no longer the party of the Crucians and the St. Jonians. No one, none of that. The Democratic Party took the position that was held by the Martin Pestle Unity Party, because the Unity Party was the political vehicle in St. Thomas. Well, with the primary election, and that was the very first primary election held in the Virgin Islands. Most of us didn't even know what's that. What's a primary election? What's that? But anyhow, beloved, we had a primary election, and as a result of the primary election, them and those who used to be the backbone of the Martin Pestle Unity Party became the backbone of the Democratic Party, who moved its residence from St. John and St. Croix to St. Thomas. And the Democratic Party now finds its home in St. Thomas. Matter of fact, they don't call themselves Martin Pestle anymore. They had become the Martin Pestle Democratic Party, which say, hey, we don't need to be. It's just a Democratic Party. And beloved, just like that, them and those who were loyal to the Democratic Party that had been in St. John and in St. Croix, they came up with what was known as the ICM Party, Independent Citizens Movement Party. Well, beloved, that lasted for a little over a decade. I don't think quite 2 decades. But from the 60s into the 70s, by the 1980s, the ICM, or Independent Citizens Movement, was, well, if not dead, and in deathbed, and it's definitely was on its way out. And well, that was over 40 years ago now. And today, as we acknowledge that today is the last day of early voting, that means we are in a home stretch for the primary election on Saturday. Well, beloved, it is a matter of what the people want. Because that's what the politicians nowadays say. They are here to serve the people. All politicians don't lead, they serve. And they serve the people by giving them what they want. So uh, this is where we are. The last of the campaign. We tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That's definitely the home church day because Saturday morning, I think we start at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Saturday morning, polls open and they're off and running, beloved. And that is our story. That sometime this Saturday night, we will know who will be the next administration in the Virgin Islands because that's the way it is. Beloved, since the 1960s, we have one party, the Democratic Party, and so that is the accepted word that whosoever wins the gubernatorial primary for the Democratic Party this Saturday, that they, in fact, that team will be sworn in come January as the next administration for this unincorporated territory called the Virgin Islands of the United States. And with that, beloved, we say to you, hey, don't you dare forget it. You got to lick your cream because Uptown ice cream is just so good for your soul. back, beloved. And as promised, I invite you to join me. Take a look at Mr. Liston B. Monsanto Sr.'s latest work. And beloved, I am certainly not qualified to review other people's writing, but because I have a microphone and I have written a little, I take it upon myself to do a review of Mr. Monsanto's latest work. And let us then take a look at it and say, beloved, the summary by Liston B. Monsanto Sr. It is not a big book. Yet, I would say it is most politically informative. Politically informative. Because it reverberates that repugnant character of our governance. And so you could call it a caustic satire. It's sarcastic, yet it's urbane and it's gracious. And it's completely suffused with the empirical knowledge of a Virgin Islander. You have to be a Virgin Islander to write something like this, or to truly read it and appreciate it. Mr. Liston Monsanto is the author of 16 books. Yes, 1-6. 16 books. And this one here, the summary, is actually his 17th. His 17th book. And beloved, this is how it is dedicated. Using the title of Moravian Circuit Rider and wisely playing the role of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, feeling footloose and fancy free to go anywhere and do anything demonic as Edward, the megalomaniac Thomas, continues to be. He was influenced by a guiding spirit and possessed by an evil spirit, which eventually led to a decline to his physical, his mental, and moral qualities. But although characterized by what you have just read. At his beck and call, and in view of the fact that the playing field has been leveled, placing Liston B. Monsanto Sr. and the megalomania on a friendly footing. It is with a feeling of satisfaction and happiness that I dedicate this book to Edward the Megalomania Thomas. Like I said, beloved, it, it is sarcastic, yet urbane and gracious, a caustic satire. Oh, Lord, Harry the Judge, Mr. Only Mr. Liston P. Monsanto Sr. You know, could, could write something like this. And I urge you to get your copy, man. Read it. Because, beloved, like we said, it is not a big book, but it is very informative of uh, the kind of politics that we practice in this unincorporated territory. But such is the summary by Liston B. Monsanto Sr. Yes, beloved, it is his. It is his 17th book. Well, turn the page, beloved. Oh, hello.
Hello,
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Mr. Moorhead?
That's me, Mario.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Moorhead. You know, what happened is for the last couple of weeks, I haven't been able to get the stream. It's been offline. And I was trying
Well,
to call people to find out if it's just the stream, if your show is still doing on the radio, 9:70 a.m., but I couldn't get anybody to give me any information. I just
Well-
let me just take a chance and call the
well,
station.
you did the right thing. We are on the air for the first time in a month.
Okay.
We had serious problems, that my boss just made every effort to try to explain to me, but it's not my field. I can't tell you. But all I can tell you is that we had some serious technical problems at 9:70 a.m. and we finally, got it repaired. When was it? Friday. Mhm. And so it's just since this weekend that we're back on the air. Well, we've been out
Well,
there since the end of June. Been a month.
yeah, because this is the last week in July.
Yeah,
Yeah, Saturday, the 4th of August.
yeah.
Yeah. So I just said, let me just take a chance and just call the station because Tuesday afternoon is Mario Moorhead time to inform and enlighten we the beloved. So I just said, let me just take a chance. And,
Yeah.
and when I heard your voice, I was just making sure that it wasn't recorded. That's why I said, okay, Mario, Mr. Moorhead.
Yes,
Well,
indeed.
well, Josh and your father and everybody. Is Josh Raines? Is that the Raines? Is their last name? Is Samora?
Rames, yes. Josh Rames, that's
Well,
our boss.
I am so glad that you were able to resolve the problem because
Not
we
me,
both
him.
have a-
That's what I'm saying. Hey, he did his best to try to explain it to me. I still don't understand it,
Well,
but I
that's
said,
all
thank
right.
God he does. Because
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the good thing is that you're back on the air,
Yes,
and
yes.
people like myself who reside outside of the territory, this is how this is what I normally do it. Unless I have to go to a doctor appointment, I take my sister or husband to a doctor because she's 70, she's 81. I'm usually here at the house. So I'm glad that I was able to call, find out that you're still out there. Now,
Right.
Mr. Moorhead,
Yes.
well, you've been off the air for a month.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if it was last week. Time goes by so fast nowadays. Where HUD proves some allocations that came down, I guess, for Irma Maria. Are you aware of that? Have you heard that?
No. I have been, laying low, catching up on my own personal reading,
Okay.
so that yes, I'm not aware of too much that is going on. Trying my best to avoid the politics, but you don't do that in the Virgin Islands. And we're in the home stretch now for the primary election this Saturday, so that's
Well, one of the candidates yesterday, I was explaining to him that until we have reapportionment, to me, we could have the best candidate, the best qualified individual.
yeah.
But if the system is flawed, then how are we going to accomplish anything? Because I tried to explain that this is how we get accountability.
But
Yes,
I agree with everything you say. I agree with everything you're saying, Mr. Grant, but there's one thing that you got to figure for, which is that we are a one-party system. And that one party is enjoying the, I don't know what you can say, but the freedom, of no opposition, and they don't want any change to the system, anything that causes them to be accountable, to the constituents. No, they don't want to hear anything like that. So that no, they are happy the way things are, and everything that we have tried, to introduce the accountability that would come with the reapportionment aid. So
yeah, like I told them, I said, well, then you're going in there for sure, because how can you service the community when you can't hold you accountable for anything? You call them, oh, that's not the senator's job. We don't do that. We don't do this. Then what sort of representation do I receive as a constituent? If you're not going to stand up for me, then I don't need you to represent me. I'm just sick of that, Mr. Moore. I grew up in the 70s, I'm 62. And to me, politics have ruined the Virgin Islands. It's too much politics involved. And I don't know, maybe I'm just seeing it wrong. This is just my opinion. Maybe I guess what I found out was what caused us to fall into ruins. And it was in 1966, and I had no idea, because even through all of my schooling, elementary, junior high school, I was never taught what happened in 66. And I think that probably goes back to how you guys were plaintiffs fighting to teach our children our history. And
well, we still engage in that fight because again, we have not been able to convince the court, that yes, uh, they have not been teaching the history and the law insisted in it. We taught from kindergarten to 12th grade, and the court says we have not proven our case.
Mr. Moore, I'm getting a little confused. If it's Virgin Islands statute on code, it's been on the books for 40 something years. How is the court interpreting that to be that you, the plaintiff now, who's just bringing to the court's attention that this statute of code, that there is violation of it, that when the court makes its adjudication and its edict, to ask the plaintiff now to enforce the law, that's not the plaintiff's job. The plaintiff was just notifying the court that these people are not doing what is legal based on statute and code.
Well, we tried, and we continue at it, and we tell them to say the Constitution of the United States still applies to us, and it says that there should be not more than one representative per district. We have 7 per district, and everybody says, so what?
Let me ask you something, more, because you was around from 54 to 66, because the argument that they came back with me yesterday when I was trying to tell them about reapportionment is that district can only work in America. They don't work in the Virgin Islands.
It works everywhere in the world.
It works. They're doing districting. In Anguilla, they're doing districting.
In Puerto Rico, they're doing districting. That's why I ask them all the time. I said, well, just tell me, where is it that there's a system, anything similar to ours? Whatever you might call it, because you said it, districting, again, it doesn't matter what the name is, but in a Republican form of government, you see, the representatives must be accountable to the people, and that's what we call a district. They get their votes from that district, and it is that district that will hold them accountable when the next election comes around.
Mr. Moore, you're so right, because our congressional representatives had a town hall, and they had questions, good question. I think, okay, in your neighborhood, what is it that you see that we need you to address? So you're right. And this is only if you live in the 15th congressional district. If you live in the 16th or 17th, then you go to those representatives.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So for them to say, oh, the Virgin Islands is too small. But when you said, like Anguilla, have, I guess we said maybe 7 districts.
Yes.
And their population is about half of what the Virgin Islands is.
Yes.
To say that the size is the reason why we shouldn't have accountability.
Nonsense.
That didn't make any sense.
Nonsense.
The argument. And I'm saying you want to run for the legislature.
The point is that you just need to let them know, if you want to be a lawmaker, you want to represent people, you have to be accountable to those people.
Yeah.
And that is why you must represent what we call a district.
Yeah.
A certain portion of the population. And that is who you are accountable to. You get your elected status from that district, that portion of people. They are the ones who elect you to your position. And you are supposed to represent them in the Republican form of government. If they're not satisfied with you, well, hey, you know, they are going to elect somebody else the next term, whether it's 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, whatever the term might be.
Yeah. Well, it's good I turned the page, Mr. Morehead. I want to discuss something I was discussing with a farmer, WAP employee, a farmer engineer in the Harley plant, and we were just think, what are the kind of brainstorming, trying to find ways to help most of the St. Thomas industry because that's we're having more of these outages. But it's something that could be overall for the whole Virgin Islands. I think we have outages as well. How do we build reliability? Because the two things WAPA have that the customers are suffering from is reliability and cost. Well, one of the things you keep hearing, I'm sure people talk about, is solar panels and a battery bank that goes around because the solar panels, you could just collect the electricity once you have light, but then once there's darkness, then the solar panels are also charging up the batteries where you can use the batteries. Well, Mr. Morehead, why don't the government look, especially, let's start with private housing, and we can say more, this is more geared towards residential, because if you are a commercial business in the Virgin Islands, right now, I would have gotten a generator or on the verge of getting a generator because you know of the fact that WAPA right now is unreliable. So we were saying that each WAPA customer have a meter. Well, then we could set up a battery with that meter, and the city power could energize the battery. So when WAPA city power go, you have an automatic transfer switch, just like you have a generator, and it would automatically switch over to the batteries, which might have maybe 3 or 4 hours of energy, but hopefully within 3 or 4 hours, WAPA should be able to restore electrical service. So I just said, now that you're back in the air, I just had this discussion recently. I said, well, let me put it out there just to get a feedback to see, I haven't heard any sitting politician or any candidate talk about solutions. I've heard them mention the problems, but we all know what the problems are. Your job is, if you want to be a representative, is to come up with a solution, not just reiterate the problems. Because that's not solving the problem.
But that's how we do in the Virgin Islands. We don't offer leadership. Matter of fact, just about every candidate, uh, they have a theme that is it's something to do with service, committed to serve, serving you, this, but there's no leadership and there's no one to offer solutions. They are absolutely not. Just elect me, and uh, I'm going to give you a better educational system. Elect me, I'm going to give you a better healthcare system. That's the solution.
Well, I think the the constituency needs to vet them properly. But then again, I don't know if they have a forum. How are they going about their candidacy so that people could vet them and see, well, is this the person that I want as my representative? Is this a person
Well,
who's just
I
there for
again,
himself, or is this a person that that throughout the years, it's not just during the electoral season that I'm hearing from you that you've been coming to talk shows and doing various things around the community to help the community.
well,
I
well,
don't.
you would do good, as a moderator, because the little that I have been exposed to, you know, in terms of debates here over the years, it's the softball questions that the moderators offer. It's not helpful, and just like you ask us, well, what is your solution to the problem? You would never hear a question like that in one of these forums. That the moderators don't ask them questions like that.
Well, one of the things I would love to ask them, Mr. Moore, what is what are your solutions to help local businesses to thrive and maybe expand, like Armstrong Ice Cream? There is a company that's been in business for several generations, over a century.
Well, don't get me worked up on that, because that's what that really, and excuse it, the terminology, but it pisses me off, because uh, the last uh, outsider that was lauded here with everything that we could think of was this Captain Morgan. Now, this is a pirate, all right? A pirate is nothing but a robber on the high seas. It's like somebody sticking up on the street. Two guys couldn't really catch you up in a dark alley and says, "Give me a watch, give me," hey, it's a robber. This is what pirates do on the high seas. And what do you think they did? They rob it? Like, you've heard of the 1619 project?
Yes.
The first Africans that were brought to America as enslaved people in 1619. You familiar with that?
The first African that was.
The first Africans.
You can just speak up a little bit.
All right. All I wanted to point out to
okay, I can hear you much better now. Yes.
All right. All I'm trying to point to is that, again, the business of these business was to attack other ships, and they would take the healthy ones of our enslaved Africans on board. They would take them and sell them right here in the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah.
This is what pirates did. And I'm saying to you, Herman, look at how we did, and we continue to celebrate Captain Morgan. He was a captain of the pirates. So what has he done for us? This is the man here that was actually stealing and selling our ancestors in the high seas. We celebrate them. We gave them the land to put the distillery. Give it to them.
We gave them everything.
All right. When it comes to Armstrong Ice Cream, we can't even get them to look into it. We didn't have to do anything other than to look in to see how it is that we can help Armstrong Ice Cream to get packaged.
Yeah, Mr. Moore, I just understand what you're saying. Yeah, if we could do our this for Captain Morgan, whose image is a robber on the high seas, and let's say in the Caribbean,
yes,
and give them hundreds of millions of dollars
yes.
of goods and service, but we can't do anything for a local company that's been around for over 100 years.
Thank you.
So what is the Economic Development Authority about? Isn't that to develop local businesses to help them thrive, and if they want to expand? This was Armstrong Ice Cream should be a perfect candidate.
But this is the point that we're making. This is the point. We said, listen, and the man that I first spoke to, because he's the one that proposed the resolution to honor them, so that they get it. I said, well, why don't you sit with them and see what it would take to get them packaged, have the ice cream packaged, and they will not even sit with the Armstrong to find out, much less to come up with something. But I gotta go. We got other callers too.
And I inquired about that, and the staff said they had no idea, no knowledge about Armstrong Ice Cream packaging, or that Senator Gibbons was involved. So that's it.
Yeah, there you go. But thank Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you take care of yourself. Thank you so much for the call.
No problem, Mr. Moore. You take care of yourself.
All right, Mr. Grant. All right.
All right.
Beloved.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
sir. All right. Yes, sir. Lick your cream, beloved, because I'm sorry, ice cream is just so good for your soul. We got a call holding, so let's go there. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for your patience and welcome.
Hey, long time, my friend.
Long time, a whole month, son, a whole month. But thank you.
Wow.
And hey, we got our boss. Hey, what was it? What he said? The capacitors.
Capacitor. I know a little bit about capacitor. I know a little bit about them. Yeah.
Well, he said he is now, an expert in it. He knows now. He didn't know before, but he'll know.
Yeah. But hey, welcome back, sir.
Yes, man, I am so pleased. And like I said, it's like, like I'm 10 years old and I just having a birthday party. So I'm so anxious.
Yeah.
Glad to be back, man. Glad to be back.
We'll be the same way. We ain't gonna never give up. You know what I mean?
Right.
We gonna ever give up. You know what I mean? We know in the time where we're hearing politicians them telling them to get it, begging us for a vote, that they gonna do this, but they never tell us how, we gonna get the initiative well fulfilled through well the passage of the I mean they only promise us that they're gonna do something, and by the time you look around, the time gone, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
We gonna stick a little bit with this Captain Morgan as you were talking, about this pirate here.
Yeah.
They give that company don't get this heap of money, right?
That's what I mean. And all they had to do is ask more than I get more, because everything we're gonna think of, we get a people.
Yes,
And I mean,
yes,
and this is a pirate, We're celebrating a pirate. And that's what I was asking the other call if you know about 1619 Project, because the very first of our enslaved Africans
yes,
to hit what is today the United States, they were still colonies then in 1619,
right, right,
what happened at the time was that, again, the pirates
right,
had actually overtaken another ship. This is what they just do. Well, I say
right,
no, what they do was they still going on. What they used to do, but that was piracy, is that they would actually attack a ship
yes,
that is transporting our enslaved Africans.
yes,
They would leave all of those sickly or dying one at the ship. No, they take all the healthy ones,
right, yeah,
and then they're going to sell them.
yep. That was because of the Spaniards who wrote this Sea of Black, what the Asiento.
The asiento, that's what they call them, the contract.
Yeah, the
You understand?
right, yeah,
Well, the Dutch were infamous in that,
yeah,
in actually attacking all the ships that are transporting enslaved Africans.
yeah.
And they would take all the healthier ones off the ship, go over and sell them.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead with this. Going to this agricultural industry, which, like you say, we took it away from us from 1966. Kill it.
Yeah.
But you have a candidate. A candidate was after them, and they was one of them that wrote this bill, the agricultural bill.
Yeah.
Yet still, we haven't heard, what kind of agriculture product, or how this agriculture gonna come to fruition without something to help sustain agriculture, which is water. We got the land already. That means we got the land.
Right.
We don't. I don't hear them talking about egg farm. We got farm for animals, food.
Yeah.
These are things that, as they would say, nobody coming here to help us. So how we gonna help ourselves? It's not true agriculture.
Well, again, as of right now, with all of these candidates running for office, from governor right hand down, everything is outside in. And I don't know of anything that does grow from the outside in.
Right.
Every living thing you grow from the inside out.
I mean,
That's how life is. You grow from the inside out. And again, so ask them, what are they doing to help us? We are the inside of the Virgin Islands. What is St. John, St. Thomas, and St. Croix talking about? What is on the inside? We.
yeah.
What are you going to develop us? Now,
know,
again, well, we didn't even make it a first base, but again, but we had the Indongo Collective, and I said that because I got on a T-shirt today with a Indongo Collective T-shirts, you know, is that we had to like every day, every day, we buy water from Seven Seas, and then with this reverse osmosis.
Right,
All right. Now then, when the water becomes sewage, it ends up. It was supposed to be this water treatment plant by Aquila.
By Angola, right? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now that was supposed to be a three-stage thing, so that by the third stage, that water could be could be a drinkable water again.
Right.
Never work out. So that what they do, they actually go to one reverse treatment to make it all the solid, they come liquid, and then dump it right back into the sea.
Right. And we found that a place for them to even store that water, you know, if it was possible for them to get that system up.
Well, that's what I'm referring to. That's what we said with the Dongo thing. We were going to run instead of dumping the water back into the sea, which is 3.5 million gallons of water.
Yes, sir. That's a lot.
That's it. Every day.
Every day. We have a man-made.
All right. Now, all right. All they had to do now is like in the center of the island. Matter of fact, we had actually look out the it's between jealousy and between who is it? Jealousy.
Wait, jealousy or how much did they so far now?
No, but what they call it? The general area at the island is that we were going to make an artificial lake that would supply more than enough water for agriculture and anything else that we needed. So they had the water here. Again, that's inside out cultivation.
Yes.
You know, again, nobody pay us some money with it. Nothing. You know, again, we talk about homesteading. Again, they pay us some money. But again, all they could talk about is tourism. That's it.
You know, according to a elderly person that spoke to me again, you know, beloved, if we don't know about our past, here in St. Croix for sure, we last forever.
Well, that's what we do. We last.
You know, I mean, we had a leader, we got him, David Hamilton Jackson. Up until Firebond, we were getting 10 cents a day.
Yeah.
The man get the laborers a raise of $150, 150 cents. I mean, I said,
actually, it's 1,000%. That was when the labor union started in 1950. The wage was at 10 cents a day.
Yeah.
All right. By 1919, it happened actually. You get $1 a day.
$1, okay.
All right. So to go from 10 cents a day to $1 a day, man, hey, my mother, you know, told me that the big celebration they had in Freegot. You know, what did they get? $1 a day?
My mother, she was a pitcher. You know a pitcher, baby?
Yeah.
She used to get 10 cents for every pitch she make to your how you call it, old canteen, that canteen. Yeah, 10 cents. And that's how she was able to buy land
Well, there you go. All I could tell you is when I was growing up, I was small. 1 cent, for 1 cent, you get a pocket full of candy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. But beloved, you know, pick your poison Saturday because uh, for what I seen, beloved,
Yeah.
invariably it's gonna be the same like yesterday.
All right.
And we talk about this at class. I listening. While I speak today,
Lick your cream, Miss Son.
I tell you, I,
Stay strong, man. That's what they call it.
yes, sir.
Good thing. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Is this Mario?
This is me. Thank you for your call. Thank you for your patience.
Well, this is yours truly, Liston Monsanto Sr.
Well, how about that? We've been talking about you. Listen, B.
That's what I
Monsanto
heard. That's
Senior.
I just learned that.
Yeah.
Passing by.
We talk about you. We call about your caustic satire.
These people are the ones who have us where we are.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
You have to understand that. These guys are playing Jekyll and Hyde and hiding behind the scenes and all the time. They are very dangerous.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let me.
But I heard that Jimmy O'Brien was saying that they should leave the West Indian Company talk to Thomas. I have to write that book.
Right, let me just say one little sentence that I use in talking about. We said the out of 16 books, the summary is the 17th. And then I said, this is not a big book, yet it is most politically informative, reverberating the repugnant character of our governance. It is caustic satire, sarcastic yet urbane and gracious, suffused with the empirical knowledge of a Virgin Islander, an author of 16 books, and now his 17th, the summary. We have to give you yours, son. Give Jackie jacket.
Well, I much appreciate that. See, but it's important to use a scientific method. Yeah, but no matter how you talk truthfully about these people, the people are throwing them actually yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah, like you said, I define the word totalitarian in that book. And that's what you're living. One party running the other.
That's right. That's right.
But they don't care. They don't care. No. Anyway, I want to say thank you very much for whatever you said. I didn't hear it.
Yes.
It was brought to my attention in passing by the street. And I much appreciate it because
Yes,
you have
sir.
done for me what most of the radio talk show hosts are afraid to do. You don't talk about my books.
No, well, I talk about you in every opportunity I get because,
Yes,
like I
right?
said, you know, you are. I mean, I know you could be sarcastic, but yet you're urbane and gracious with your caustic satire.
When I spoke about Cyril King and Ruben Weasley,
Yes, set a good for nothing.
I don't know, Cyril King, it doesn't matter, rest in peace. You don't understand. Cyril King didn't do anything. The airport in St. Thomas was always there. He didn't do anything. His tenure was short, right?
Yeah,
Let the man rest in peace.
let him rest
He's
in
only
peace.
governor like this.
Yeah.
I defeated Evans, King Louis, and Farrell. And the same thing that I defeated continues.
Yeah.
No change. Anyway, thank you very much once again.
Again, I had nothing to do with it, and I am, always great to receive a call from beloved, the author of the Extreme Test. The most impactful book ever written about the Virgin Islands.
The mere fact that silence remains closed and tells me what you just said to be true. Nobody wants to talk about it.
Well, we talk about it here.
That's right. You and Brother R spoke about my book ad nauseum.
Yes, sir.
But the rest of us can talk about it. Everything is but that.
We give you what is yours, what you deserve.
And you mean to tell me when I was a sportscaster, actively engaged in that field, I became the best all around sportscaster in the English speaking Caribbean.
I recall reading your book. Oh Lord, like you said, I remember. Oh Lord, somebody who was running barefoot against Amadeo Francis. It was
Yeah,
something. I mean, I've read everything you read. You write. I read. I don't remember, but as you said that, I thought about this. I remember somebody he said, and he ran barefoot, and I said, Lord, I can't remember now, but it was in your book. I read it.
Yeah. That was Elmo William.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, you were the street man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Francis, as I represent Puerto Rico, in Helsinki, Finland.
All right, there you go. There you go. Yes.
I did qualify here.
Like I said, Mr. Monsanto, we don't give you what you don't deserve. Everything we give you is what you earned.
Well,
You earned it.
I'm glad that I have earned your respect.
Yes, sir.
And all is well that ends well. Thank you once again, Mario. Give somebody else a chance to call in.
We are honored. We are honored to host you. Beloved, none other than Liston D. Monsanto Sr., the author of his newest book is called The Summary that we spoke about. We reviewed it earlier. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Monsanto. Thank you. Be well.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right. Beloved, lick your cream. Because Upside ice cream is just so good for your soul. we're truly back because we have the physicists in the house. So that there, is proof that we are back, because uh, beloved, he can't be in two places at once at the same time. So we prove that he is back. Uh, uh, but beloved, give us a chance because we had a caller that's been holding on, but we are going to give you the physicist Michael Henry momentarily. Just let us give this caller an opportunity to vent a little. Good afternoon to you.
Angel woman,
Hey, you in charge, right? You in charge.
angel woman.
I tell you, they had us shut down for a month from the end of June to the end of July.
Right?
So we got to be back, but so here, Super Dad is in the house. The physicist is in the house. So one by one, we're making it back, man. We're making it back.
But on this radio, they got radio that station no more. And this morning, I make so ping and I said, what?
Yes.
I said, huh?
Aha. We
Come
back.
down, I said, come back down from Cahoon.
Stop it. All right.
We don't got it.
Yes, but I got the physicist in the house.
Oh, Mr. Henry?
Dr. Henry.
All right. Very holy there. Anyway, we're back, man.
Good thing, you still sharp. Good to hear your voice. Super
All right.
Dad. All right. And yes, good afternoon to you. And I am so glad to be able to, see your face across the field because every Tuesday afternoon, there's been 4 of them now. I think about this. We could have been having here from the physicists all now. So, sure, we got a lot of information to share with us. Look at how much we losing here. All the damn nonsense about who will run for the primary, this primary, that, this election, that. Too much politics and all kind of problems, but no solutions.
Yes.
So we say, welcome home.
Thank
Welcome
you.
home. We're so glad to have you.
And
So
good-
glad to have you.
Good afternoon to you and to the audience.
Yes, indeed.
So a lot has been happening,
Yeah.
and should have been being discussed by candidates, but nothing. I don't really understand what's going on, but apparently, so I was before the break, before that Wapa knocked you all off. We
Yeah.
I was away at a graduation, and apparently while I was getting ready to travel back, WAPA made an announcement, and I totally missed it. And it seems like most people did because it was on the consortium, and I just looked at it before I came, and only 4 people commented about it. And so I'm wondering how many people actually saw the article.
Yeah.
But it was a press release that WAPA had gotten FEMA funds, 600 million for the St. Croix plant to be replaced, and 300 million to upgrade the St. Thomas plant. So that's 900 million.
That's almost $1 billion.
Almost $1 billion. And there hasn't been much talk about it. I've heard somebody on the radio mention this, and then I think I heard one other person, and that was it. Nobody.
We have a
seems to
chief
really-
executive that's making what a third of $1 billion a year, something like that.
Yeah.
300 some $million a year. And I mean, he doesn't know what to do with almost $1 billion.
Well, apparently not, because what they're doing is another one of these design and build things that they did with the propane that got us in trouble,
Oh,
that we
no,
paid twice as much as we
Yeah.
and got the Watsilla generators and everything in
Yeah.
that. And so, I don't know what's going on. They have entered into a contract with this company to do a design and build. and that's what they came out with in May, and then nothing since then. So what's going on? What are they doing? What are they planning to do?
Yeah.
There's nothing. And the public needs to know and to get and that they can give whatever input into what we would like, because power plants lifetime is 30 years. They're planning to build this by 2030, so that means we are stuck with whatever they do until 2060. And so so it should the public should have some input, some say in what they would like in a power plant. Not that they have to follow us, but at least to get our input. Because
I just keep thinking that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and I don't think the federal government is going to want to give us that kind of money again anytime soon. So whatever we do needs to be something really solid for the future. And I don't see WAPA has not been very good at that. Looking at the propane situation.
What is WAPA good at?
And so, I don't see how it hurts them to get public input.
Yeah.
I mean, more minds, they have this thing, if you give 10,000 monkeys a typewriter, they will eventually come up with all of Shakespeare's plays. One monkey, just by chance, one monkey will type, to be, another monkey will type, not to be, and you would eventually, you'll get a lot of junk.
Yeah.
But in that junk would be Shakespeare's plays.
All right.
And so that's really what science is about. 10,000 monkeys. One researcher thinks, oh, this is what is going on. Another researcher thinks, oh, this is what's going on. Another one thinks something else. They all go and study and research what they think is going on, and eventually one of them is going to stumble upon what actually is going on. They share what they find, and then the people say, okay, what you have is the case. And that's what, like, for example, Einstein, his theories and stuff, people were bothering with because it was contrary to what people thought was supposed to be happening. It wasn't until after, in desperation, some people looked at what he was doing and was like, yeah, this explains this thing that we were having, and couldn't find any explanation to it. His first thing, which he got the Nobel Prize on, it was the photoelectric effect. They were expecting, based on Maxwell's equations that was held up for a long time, that light was a wave. They were getting the opposite results of what they thought they would get. And people kept doing the experiment over and over again, thinking, okay, well, they didn't do it right, or we got better equipment, and they kept getting the same results. He came up and was like, well, no, light can travel like a wave, but it delivers energy like a particle. And that's where he came up with the idea of the photon. And eventually, this was so far-fetched. But when people started looking at it and looking at the experiment, they were like, yeah, this explains exactly what is going on. And then eventually they realized, light travels like a wave, but exchanges energy as a particle. His next something was the special relativity, which eventually gave us the famous equation E equals mc squared. He said, well, at that point, the standard was time was the thing that was universal. Anywhere you're in the universe, everybody is seeing things happening in the same time period. He said, based on something he thought about from since he was 10 years old and kept thinking about it, that no, the speed of light is the thing that's universal. Time can vary. And he came up with this special relativity, which eventually the last portion of it, many things, was the equation E equals, he came up, realized mass was a form of energy. And that's what that E equals mc squared equation, which is what tells us how much energy you'll get out of nuclear reactions. But again, this was so contrary. Everything before that, time was a constant. Everybody saw the same time period, no matter where you were. And this explains something that experimenters were seeing. There was this particle called muon that was sometimes is created at the edge of our atmosphere. The lifetime of a muon is relatively short. It shouldn't be able to make it down to the surface of the earth because it should have gone away by that time.
Okay.
But they were finding muons were hitting the surface of the earth, and they could not figure out how in the world was this possible.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out if you use this special relativity, and at time, in that case, as you move closer to the speed of light, time dilates. It gets longer. So somebody who's still moving at the speed of light, close to the speed of light, sees things happening over a longer time period than somebody who's moving slowly.
Okay.
So, and the muons move close to the speed of light. So the muons were like, we have all day to reach the surface of the earth before we go away. But the people on the earth who are not moving anywhere close to the speed of light, they're seeing that no, the muons should have decayed by now.
Yeah.
And so this was the thing, people think different things, and somebody happens to think the right thing. And then when people look at it, they see, yeah, you're right. There's no argument against it. You're right. Eventually, at first they laugh at them, but, and so the same thing will happen. Yeah, most of us are going to come up with ideas that are not going to flow, but somebody is going to come up with an idea that is going to be solid. And the only way you do that is that you put out to the public what it is you're planning to do, and see if there's an Einstein among us. If somebody happens to just be looking in the right direction, thinking about it the right way, and gets it. So, and this is not what is happening right now. They are planning things, planning to move forward, and we have no clue which direction they're going in. Are they going to continue with propane, which I don't think they should? Are they going to go to natural gas, which should be the obvious thing to do?
Explain that to us.
Right. I mean, it's so much cheaper than propane. And also, the U.S. has it in abundance. The U.S. has more natural gas than Saudi Arabia has oil. The U.S. is shipping natural gas to all kinds of places. So why not here? Why not one of those ships that are probably sailing by us right now?
Yeah. To
stop. And they have a lot of alternatives. I think I told you this before, that I looked at the whole energy thing somewhere around 2007. And I spent a number of years looking at different options, nuclear, hydrothermal, hydro, all the different things. Nuclear, nuclear is the safest and the cleanest form of energy. All forms of anything you do with energy is a problem. It's destructive because it's energy. It can cause problems. The question is, what problem can your area deal with? Best. Nuclear is good when it works, but it's horrible when it goes bad. We had you heard of the Chernobyl in Russia. Before that, there was 3 Mile Island in New York City. I mean, it took maybe 9 to 10 years before grass started to grow on 3 Mile Island. And that one, there was the water that leaked out, the primary water that leaked out, and with that, nuclear radioactive particles. Chernobyl, the problem was that they have control rods that control how much heat is generated. It absorbs some of the neutrons that are emitted, and that rod got stuck. So they couldn't slide it in to slow the process down. And the process, and basically the difference between a nuclear power plant and a nuclear bomb is that the nuclear bomb, all the energy is given out in a very short period of time. In a nuclear power plant, it's given out gradually and is controlled by these control rods. And so when they couldn't get the control rods back in, the nuclear action just kept going. It heated up the uranium, melted the ground. In the US, they called it the China syndrome, that it would melt and, not realistically, but it would go through the core of the earth and ended up in China.
Mm.
So in Russia, it just went down. I don't know how far, but it sunk down into the ground, melting the dirt and whatnot, and just kept radiating for a long period of time.
Mm.
So it's, but I don't think the U.S. will allow us to have a nuclear reactor. They have to be very particular about the uranium that they give you. So they give the power plants a certain amount, and they keep very strict things as to what happens with that. After a while, the uranium changes as it goes through its thing and becomes other things. One of the things it becomes is plutonium. It's not plutonium is one of the things that they used. They had two bombs that they dropped on Japan, Nagasaki and Hiroshima. One was a uranium atomic bomb. The other one was a plutonium atomic bomb. Plutonium is not very efficient for power production. So when the uranium that they had, the power plants have, turns more to plutonium, they have to take it out and replace it. But they can't just take it out and dump it, because now you can make an atomic bomb out of the plutonium. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they take it to mountains somewhere in Wyoming or Montana, or one of those Western countries which have large spaces with nobody around. They have dug a hole into the side of one of the mountains, and they store that stuff in there for many years. And it's guarded by the military and so on. So it's not a simple thing of having a nuclear power plant. I don't think the US will allow a territory that could at any point in time decide they don't want to be part of the US anymore and become independent to have nuclear fuel. I don't, right now they're in talks with Saudi Arabia to allow them to have a nuclear power plant. And this is a country that is not part of the US. And they are contemplating whether or not to allow them to have a nuclear power plant because of issues like this. And they were saying that they won't allow them, that they will supply the fuel to Saudi Arabia because they don't want them enriching their own uranium, which they would have to. So nuclear, I don't think will happen. Who knows? But
again, though, with the amount of money that we're talking about, this
right,
almost $1 billion,
right? There's so much.
Can we almost, redo WAPA?
Pretty much, and that's what the $600 million is to on St. Croix, to totally rebuild the Richmond power plant, totally rebuild it, everything new, so we can do what we want to do. But again, if the talks, it sounds like they're planning to rebuild it in Richmond. Even that, I'm not sure. It says rebuilding the Richmond power plant, so it implies that it's going to be in Richmond. But at the same time, who knows? Maybe not. And people are saying, take it to the South Shore. I'm not sure I've ever heard an argument about it staying where it is. But at the same time, it's silence, crickets. We don't know what they're planning to do. They're not saying, oh well, we're planning to rebuild, but we're thinking about relocating to the South Shore. By the way it's phrased, it sounds like they're planning to stay in Richmond, which again, you're like, why? You have $600 million.
Well, I'm thinking that, well, Saturday here would be the determination as to who is the Democratic nominee,
right,
for governor. But clearly, come January, we're going to have a new administration.
Right.
I would think with this news, it is time now to speak to these potential governors as to, well, what can we do,
right,
with this bonanza on our hands in the critical situation that we find ourselves in? And what about the Richmond versus South Shore? I mean, but again, I try my best not to keep up with it, but whatever I hear about the debate that they don't have these kind of issues that
It has not come up, and that's that is also the other wild thing about it. Why wouldn't the moderators bring it up? Do they know about that this is going on? That planning is happening now, and so how is this not a top? So I think the two top things we have a lot of problems, right? But I would think most people would agree the two top things is healthcare and power.
Mhm.
I mean, you can't really run a hospital without without good power.
Yeah.
I think with this money, we don't have the money sitting for healthcare. A lot of stuff we don't. At least I don't know of it. I haven't heard of it.
Mhm.
But we have money sitting for WAPA, for energy. This should take that to the top. This should be what is being discussed the most because we need to make decisions. They are planning to get this thing built by 2030. Decisions need to be made as soon as possible. If not before, hopefully they'll wait to when the new governor gets in. But that should be within that first year. These decisions should be
Well,
solid.
that's why I'm thinking that between now and November, because Saturday,
Yeah.
well, we know who would be because on the street, it's always the Democratic candidate is the front runner.
Yeah. And I think its history has kind of pushed that way. And so it's more than likely not, there's been outliers like on MAP, and so, but most of the time, right.
But how can we get, the questions that you pose, how could we get this in front of a debate?
I don't, I'm hopefully by us discussing it now might help. I'm kind of thinking us discussing it may have kind of put the article out in the first place because we had a couple of I came in a couple of times and then I was on I think a third time on the phone and we've been discussing it and then of course thanks to you inviting me to do so. I think this has put a little pressure on them to do something.
Well, let's do more because we get well, we get the month of August,
right?
Because it's the first Saturday in August, the primary,
right?
Which happens to be August 1st. So really, we got the month of
This
August,
weekend. Right?
September, and October.
Yep.
We need to have. We could have
I
one
think,
debate a month.
Yeah. And I think this needs to be wherever they are, what they're thinking about doing, it needs to be out in the public so that the public can say, we have, again, 10,000 monkeys.
Yes.
Somebody among us is going to, not even just one person again, because it's not just one person typing out, one monkey typing out Hamlet. There's many of them. Each one has one piece of it. And so I think this is time to be collecting those pieces.
Yeah.
There are good ideas out there. And again, somebody may not have the total idea, but they may have a part of it. Yeah. And that's where the experts come in. That's where their expertise come in. They can recognize and see and understand how to put these words together. The monkeys can type the different words to Shakespeare's play, but it took Shakespeare to put them together.
Granted. I mean, but Richmond versus South Shore.
Right.
I mean, how much expertise does it take?
It should have, but there's some reason they don't want to do it. It's clear. When we started talking about this back in May, I guess is when we first started.
Yeah.
Then the governor came out on the radio saying, that what he South Shore and kind of basically discouraging anything to be done there. Because apparently they have some idea about using South Shore other than producing electricity.
Yeah.
What exactly that is and how reasonable that is, don't know because it's not really put out for discussion, not to flesh out to see. Does it make sense?
I agree with you, but again, because we have a general election, in 3 months' time.
Exactly. We
know.
but we have to press it apparently.
And-
They're not
and-
going to touch it. Apparently, they have been advised, leave it alone.
Well, they didn't advise you to leave it alone.
No, they didn't, and they didn't advise the rest of the public,
Yeah.
the audience. So we are going to have to be the ones to bring it up, because apparently they are not going to bring it up themselves.
Yeah.
And there's something going on that we don't know, and it might be a very good logical reason if they put it
Yeah.
forward and let us know, and then we're like, okay, you prove your point,
Yeah.
we're gonna drop it. But they haven't even tried to prove their point.
Yeah. But we have the funds.
We have the funds.
600 million is
Just for St. Croix, 300 million for St. Thomas. Even in that, it's kind of seeming that the federal government has something in mind. They have they have a couple of labs that deal with energy. One, Sandia, where a former person I worked with is there, a big guy and they're doing research there. And then I think there's another one, I think maybe in Colorado or something like that. But anyway, that's where they have people who are big into energy, giving them advice. And so it's clear that they have how they see things working out for the Virgin Islands. St. Croix seems to be a big part of it, because the St. Thomas burns more energy than we do.
Mm.
So why are they giving us, St. Croix, more money than St. Thomas?
Yes.
That shows a clear thing that the federal government sees something in St. Croix. I think I know what it is, because I told you I've been looking at this since maybe 2007.
Yeah.
I came up with that our best plan was to do a major natural gas plant on the South Shore in St. Croix,
Yeah.
and then run a cable to St. Thomas.
Yeah.
We have a deep drop between us, but I think there are areas where it goes down by about a mile.
Yeah.
I think it goes even deeper in some areas. But they have done a mile in Italy before, running an electric cable. And we also have phone cables, but phone cables are not as big, and so the electric cables will be a little bit. But they have done this before in Italy, so we can run a cable from St. Croix to St. Thomas. Have a natural gas, also waste the energy plant in St. Croix. We could even ship that. They were at one point they ship the garbage from thing to over here, to be burned in that plant. So instead of having to do two, because St. Thomas land then is the issue, space is an issue. Run the cable, and then also have a power plant, so they're not solely relying on the cable. If anything happens or whatever, they have the 300 million to build a plant in St. Thomas. It's the only good thing I've heard though in that announcement is that they were talking about a 10 megawatt backup generators. So apparently the standby generators. So they are looking to do that. Although 10 megawatts is not going to be a whole lot. I think.
How do we learn who are moderators for these debates?
I think they have been announcing them in advance. I think I've heard of stuff, but I can't swear to it because I haven't really been paying attention because I wasn't expecting much of anything to come from the debates. Although the last one with the Congress, people running for Congress, a lot came out. That was probably the best debate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the moderators came prepared. They did their research. So when the candidates were trying to give them some fluff answer, they were like, "Well, no, so and so and so." They were really.
That's what we need.
That's what we need.
With this thing here, $600 million.
Right.
You know, and a general election just 3 months away. I mean, what more opportunities we could wish for?
And that's what, and so I said the last debate, and I feel somebody from WTJX and the guy from the consortium did it, and they were very
Gilbert,
Eunice Gilbert, something like that.
I don't think Gilbert is.
And then the lady from WTJX is something Ventura Douglas, I believe. something with an M, Marcella or something like that.
Mm.
But they came prepared. I was surprised. That has been, they were the best moderators I have seen so far.
Okay.
A lot of moderators just let anything fly, but they were, when the candidates were kind of giving these fluff answers, they were like, well, no, so and so and so.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's what we need
that's
here over the next 3 months.
that's what we need. But unfortunately, and I guess it's also that they weren't, this was the people running for delegate. So they didn't get into WAPA and energy because that's more like the governor type of a question.
Yeah.
So I hope that after the primaries, they will do a debate with
So
the
what's the paper?
the consortium.
The consortium.
Right.
All right, that's an online.
Online, right.
Mm.
And then WTJX also has online news. And this
Well, can we reach out to them online as well? What?
I guess you could. I'm assuming he has like an email that I really don't know how you get in touch with him. But I'm assuming people know how.
Well, as you're sensing here,
Right.
I'll
look it
for
up
something
and
advantage of the opportunity.
yeah, I'll look it up and see and let you know next time, next Tuesday. But they would be the people to do it. They I said they did their research and before going in, and so the candidates couldn't just slip by. And there's couple of them tried, and they were like, no, so and so and so.
Yeah.
So but we definitely need this. I think, as I said, the hospitals and power are our biggest thing. Yeah, of course, we have all kinds of things, crime and that kind of stuff. But I think most people
But this
will agree.
opportunity, Michael,
Yeah,
with
we don't have
$600 million,
right.
we
don't have that
a general election
right.
in 3 months.
Right. And that's why I would put this WAPO over the hospital, because we don't have money we're sitting on for that. For crime, we don't have this money available to us. This is something we have the ability, the opportunity to correct and make a major impact.
Show us, and by us, I mean through me,
right,
to the beloved audience, how can we get then the consortium?
Right. I'll get that information
to bring WAPA.
Right. And it wasn't, and to be fair, it wasn't
the debates forum.
Right. And to be fair, it wasn't just a consortium. They did it with WTJX. So it was a combination. I don't know who did what, so
we can reach a consortium.
Right. I think so. And I put it forward that this is what the public would like.
Yes.
And as many people, I don't see how they wouldn't.
Yes, $600 million for St. Croix, and we can't even decide whether Richmond or South Shore. We need to drop this in their lap.
Yeah, and the question becomes why? Because again, it's whatever we do, we have it for like 30 years.
Yeah.
So if we decide Richmond, we're going to be there for 30 years. We decide the South Shore, we're going to be there for 30 years. After 30 years, that's when you should start. Well, actually, before that, but you should be starting to think about replacing your equipment. Because just like a car, things get old and they start giving you problems. Yeah. And after a while, you're like, okay, do I want to deal with these problems repeatedly, or do I want to get something new where I can go for a while without problems? And each person makes their decision. It's more expensive for a new thing. You have to do the new car payment and that kind of stuff. But you can go at least 7 years without having any major thing to do besides changing the oil. While if you go with the older car, every year something is going to break down, and you're going to have to go replace it. It's cheaper, but it's more inconvenient. And each person decides which one they want to deal with. And so, this is the time. If we don't act, we're stuck with whatever decision they made for 30 years. And we saw what happened with the last decision. So, and they didn't take any public input back that one either. And I think the newspaper, well, actually, was it I think it was WTJX. No, it was Avis. They had gotten in contact with me. They got my name from somebody, and they asked me what did I think about the propane thing. And I was like, well, they really should be going to natural gas. But I'm okay with the step propane, and then that would lead to natural gas. That I could see. I'm okay with it as an intermediate step. Not the best, but you know, it's workable if they're planning to eventually move to, and they can learn about gas, how to deal with gas, because before they were dealing with liquid diesel and so on. Gas is has its own issues and its own ways. So they'll get the experience and then hopefully go to natural gas. But that was my only opportunity to give an input.
Well, I want to find ways to give you input here because uh, Saturday we will have a Democratic nominee
Right,
for governor.
right.
All right. As of right now, we got three candidates for that nomination.
Right.
You know, so we'll have the Democrats, and I don't know, they probably have a dozen independents,
Right.
or
Yeah, I would say
So
about
few.
that 5 to 6.
you know. Well, I would like to be able to, and
And then
I'm going to ask my boss. Yes.
And I would expect that after the
Well,
primary,
Cash.
that WAPA will become a big issue because one of the independent candidates is an engineer.
Yeah.
So I would imagine he would be bringing this up.
I don't want to wait.
But no, exactly. It shouldn't be left to one candidate to be bringing up our future. And so
Gustav James.
right. So I would be expecting him to be bringing it up during any debate or any time he has a chance, because that would be his strong point over the other candidates. And
He's my
so,
boss.
there's some people out there. You need him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with it. Get the boss because I would very, very much want to insert uh, ourselves into here's what's going on.
Yes.
That's what, I don't know. We need to take a break so we can do this. Or we do this.
Yeah.
So lick your cream, beloved, because Afghan ice cream is just so good for your soul. We're back. And so yes, Michael Walker. Michael Walker. Where did I get Walker from?
Luke Skywalker.
Skywalker. But yes, so we are settled. We have, actually called my boss, and he's going to do all he can to impose on the consortium and the debate,
And see, this
the
is an example
moderators.
of 10,000 monkeys. Because I wasn't thinking about a debate. You came up with that idea, and it's an excellent idea. You get more people you get talking and thinking about things, you get good ideas being thrown out.
Let's try to get at least 3 of them.
Right.
1 a month.
Right.
3 months.
Right. And you
That's
get the
not a
public
lot.
start thinking about it, public giving input, and it can't hurt. Yes, you're gonna get a lot of junk, but you are going to get some nuggets in there. That's just like everything, and if you have the expertise, you can weed through and you can spot the good ideas.
Yeah.
And I think I've said this before, but a great leader is not the person who comes up with all the ideas. It's the person who can spot the good ideas that they can, from their generals and stuff, each one of them giving them their recommendations.
Yeah.
And a great leader is like, okay, this guy, his idea, or even a couple of ideas put together, and so a good leader is a person who can pick out the best ideas out of what is being tossed up.
Well, let's be good leaders here and get this one. Don't let it slip away.
Yeah, this is
Don't let it slip away because, like I said, come Saturday, we've got a Democratic nominee for governor, so that it's set.
And so far, this has been the third rail. Nobody's talking about it. And I think there may be 1 or 2 in vague, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But most people aren't even mentioning it.
Yeah.
It's as if WAPR is not a problem, and we all know it is. And so we need to know what are their thoughts, what are they might be leaning towards. They they're not experts in it.
But I would like to insert urgently. We need to know
urgently. And so they may not be experts in it, but they need to have people in their group that are,
between now and November.
Yeah.
Each one of you,
should have some
the potential
ideas.
to be able to tell us
Right.
what would you with the $600 million.
And if you don't have somebody in your group that understands WAPR and have ideas about WAPR, you need to get one, because when you're governor, you're gonna need it. You're gonna need these. And so if you can't find somebody now that can be giving you some good, and again, it doesn't have to be the exact, but some good ideas, what's gonna happen when you become governor? That's when you're gonna start looking for somebody. That's too late. And especially with a situation like this, you got to hit the ground running.
This is all I'm saying.
So if you don't have ideas within the next month or so, that kind of tells us what we're getting and what's going to happen. And we have seen that.
Yeah, you said it. I'm just inserting the urgency.
Yeah, it's and you shouldn't even have to. It should be apparent to everybody, especially the people in St. Thomas, that this is a very urgent situation. And as I said, they're planning to have a new plant built by 2030. That's not a lot of time between now and then. That 2027 is coming up in January. So that'll be 3 years that they are planning to have something completed, which means they need very early on to know what it is they're actually building.
Yeah.
And then we're stuck with it. I don't think we're going to see this kind of money anytime soon.
All the more reasons why it's urgent.
Yeah. So I don't know when's the next time we're going to have another Biden who's going to be generous to us.
Yes.
So we need to make the most of what we have.
And the way we are drifting into it now, by this time next year, we'll be talking about. Are we sure Washington D.C. is not going to take this money back?
We might be talking
Because we're not.
maybe even worse than that. We may be talking about them taking it back, because we're kind of doing like what housing did, kind of just sitting on the money, paying salaries. I think they're planning to replace maybe 1 or 2 generators, which is a small portion of $600 million.
We need to make plans for $1 billion.
Yes.
For the 600, we need to make plans for $1 billion.
And
Right
that
now.
that really should be, because we spend the 600 responsibly, and then we can say, okay, and we would like to have these extra things. If you have done it responsibly, because what they need is Congress needs to be able to show what the money they've spent has done.
Yeah.
And so if you, and that's part of the reason why they're taking the money back, taking money back, because they gave this money and nothing, they have nothing to show. They can't go to their constituents and say, well, this is what came out of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the thing in the Bible with the talents. The guy who got the most and showed that he's invested in it and got this result from it, he got from the one who didn't do anything, they gave it to him. And that's what Congress does, is if you spend the money and they can show things that they can brag about, they're willing to, would like to give you even more so they can get even more things they can brag about. This is what they need. They need to be able to brag about the money that they have spent. That allows them to do stupid things like the war in Iran and stuff. If they can show that they're being reasonable or getting results from other things, the public is more prone to let them slide on some other things. And so, it spending this money in a very good way, a way that shows that they can show that they have brought down the cost of electricity from this to this. They would love us.
Yeah.
They would love, whoever goes to Congress will find it easy getting more money because we did something that they can brag about.
We need to. What I am going to stay on the case with the boss and let them know that hey, have you made contact with the consortium yet? Because yes, by next Tuesday I want to have a direction that we heading into.
And it's timely. This is a time for it. This is a time for it. We really need to press this and get our. If they haven't been coming up with it, solutions or an idea. And I shouldn't say solutions. So necessarily that might be pushing it too much. But ideas, at least some ideas, at least something.
President, they must have ideas because again, how far away is January?
Yeah.
And when you get sworn in January, you need to be able to go to work.
And you need to have people because you can't do it yourself. You can't do everything. You can't do crime, healthcare, energy. No president knows all of these things. What they have the ability to do is get people who do know these things attracted to them and giving them ideas and so on. So in January, whoever wins, they have to, there's 15 commissioners or directors.
Right.
They have to have 15 people in these various things that can run those various divisions.
Yeah.
And so they need people. They need to have a group, and they need to have ideas in these areas. And the only reason they wouldn't have ideas in these areas by now is that they don't have the people to give them the ideas, which is a problem.
Okay.
And we shouldn't allow them to be in that situation. They shouldn't allow themselves to be in that. Well, I guess they allow it there because we allow it. Mm-hmm. There's no pressure on them to have these people until when they get elected, and then they're just scrambling apparently to get anybody in there, and not doing background checks, not really knowing, and then we have the situations which we've had in this past year or so, because they haven't really taken the time to look at the people carefully. And that's what they should have been doing that even before they put their name out as a candidate. They should already have somebody for finance, somebody for health, somebody in energy, somebody, they should have already been over the years, because they have interacting with people, and they should have, these discussions should have been coming up.
Which means that you, who are not a candidate, who learned about this $600 million,
right?
They're candidates.
Right. That's the other thing. Why haven't they brought it up? Because I haven't heard one of them
That's the point.
mention this.
That's the point. And that's why it's urgent. It's like, again.
Yeah, what's happening? Oh, man. As you says, send help.
Yeah.
Because we're in trouble.
Yeah. But this is how I see it from everything that you've been saying. And I say, well, that's what makes it so urgent. Because we got this 3-month period here, in which we can speak as the voice of the constituents of the Virgin Islands, and we're saying, as the people of the Virgin Islands, that we want to know, what do you plan to do with this $600 million that has been given to St. Croix?
And how much did they take away? How much did they take away from housing? Do you remember the amount?
No, I don't remember.
I'm kind of thinking it's floating somewhere around. It might be even a little less. Might be like 500.
I don't think it was 600.
It wasn't. Yeah.
Not that much. But
and so if they
take millions,
right? It was millions. If they took that away from them, and again, it's not like if we ain't been warned. We see what could happen. So if it happens, it's because we sat back and allowed it to happen. When we and at this point we are holding the handle at this point in time. We're usually holding the blade. But this is an election year. This is the beginning of it. We have the handle. So the question is, are we going to spin the knife around, give them the handle in January, and hold the blade for the rest of the 4 years?
Well, I am certainly hoping that come next week, Tuesday, we have a plan in place.
Right.
How we're going to do this.
Right.
Because, the consortium can be reached.
Right. And I said they did a really good job, and there was 2 people, the consortium and WTGX, one of the 2, if not, hopefully the both combined as they did before. But if one can't do it, the other one should be able to do it. And it's I don't know what's more important at this point in time. Mainly because we have this money sitting there that can be utilized, or it could end up being wasted or taken back.
Well, we're pretty much learning to close out the top of the hour. I hope the boss is paying attention here, because we want to. Did we have a call?
They hung up.
We pretty much have, made our case, and I am taking responsibility for burdening you with the urgent request to get the consortium to organize a debate about WAPA, what they're going to do with this money, and the gubernatorial candidates. Comes Saturday evening, we'll have a a Democratic nominee.
Yeah.
And
I think it's
so
an excellent idea you came up with. And this again is
it's your idea.
Well, no, but
I'm
it's-
just putting the
no,
urgency to it.
So yeah, but it's, you know, this is what it shows an example of when you have people having a discussion. Ideas can, because it wouldn't have come, it probably would, maybe like 2 months from now, I might have thought about doing something like this. But it's in the discussion with you that this idea came up. And so we need to have more discussions. You know, sometimes even when I'm teaching, I find I'm saying, as I'm saying something to the students, something clicks that didn't. I was preparing. I've done it in class as a student. They are prepared before the lecture, but it wasn't until when I say it and I hear myself saying something, ideas start to form. So speaking things out, and I tell my students, this is when you're studying talk, even talk to yourself. When you hear your voice saying something, ideas that you would have never thought about comes up. You know, and so discussion is a necessary thing. You know, even Einstein, again, with his ideas, he used to go for walks with a mathematician and a physicist and discuss them as they walk. It's
Okay.
you know, it's very important.
Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Mario. Good to see you back.
Good to be back.
I know it is good to be back. I missed you, man. I was like, what? Man, I've been seeing him on a Tuesday. So I just happened to get a message on my phone on the Facebook saying that you're live. So I said, well, let me go and look at it a little bit. But I just wanted to keep you up with something that I think, you know, is very important to pay attention to, which is a bill that has been introduced into the Congress of this month of 2026, which is called End Birthright Citizenship for Territories Act. So I really wish people would really start to pay attention to what's really happening. So a couple other things have been happening in the United States soil, like with the thing with Israel and the United States coming together under the NDAA. I think it was the National Defense, something to do with military and giving Israel a little more leeway to come in with them to learn like intelligence under the United States. It's just messed up, you know. So to me at this point it's like, yeah, we could vote, but what is it going to change when America is a system that is really, really, really causing a lot of problems? But anyway, the bill proposed is supposed to end automatic U.S. citizenship at birth in 4 U.S. territories for future births: Puerto Rico, Guam, United States, Virgin Islands, and Northern Mariana Island. Now, under the proposal, people born before January 1st, 2027 will keep their citizenship. People born on or after January 1st, 2027 would not automatically become U.S. citizens just because they were born in one of these territories. So instead, at least one parent would generally need to be either a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident green card holder. So now, the bill is aimed at changing the federal statutes that currently grant citizenship in these territories. And the reason why is because, remember, you know, Webster argues that the citizenship in the territories comes from federal statutes passed by Congress. It was never directly in the Constitution. So the same way, because Congress could either continue giving us privilege, or they could take it away too. And even if it would become unconstitutional, we got a lot of things that's unconstitutional that is taking place right now. So we could go ahead and say, oh, well, that ain't gonna happen, that ain't gonna happen. I ain't putting nothing past America in these times. So I just
Trump.
America has been America. Look at the history of how they became that. You had people on this land that called America, not America. They took the S. I know the history, and it's still continuing till this day. So when I speak on it, I'm just saying, when we keep saying we're proud to be an American, what makes us an American? When they're trying to do these things today, by trying to violate us all now, the U.S. territories, to try to strip states, to end their birth citizen right territories act. So when we speak on these people, we need to stop getting caught up in what we're seeing today, because nothing's going to change. It's just different faces, but the same game still remains the same. So what I'm saying is I would like you to just look more into it, and let's stay more in tune with that.
Well, I would say to you, you know,
doing on that? Ask Plastic, what is she doing about that? Because that's something that was proposed, but it just ain't reached to the Senate. It's just something thought about. That's all. It just ain't reached to the floor yet, but they're looking to bring it on the floor come next year. And since she's running for governor, really and truly, like, what can she be able to do just as a governor of the Virgin Islands if she wins? Like I said, people pay attention, please. You know, we've been voting for how long now? Right now, the Civil Rights Act is being bargained with, is being dismantled as we speak.
But so, again, if I could be a little impolite here, because time is well pressing on us at this point here now. But what I would like for you to do is to comment on what we see as an urgent matter, very urgent matter. The fact that WAPA has been given all of these hundreds of millions of dollars, and we would like very much to get a debate with these gubernatorial candidates as to how are they going to use this money to improve on WAPA, like simple things like if you're getting $600 million for St. Croix, are you going to, you know, improve on the situation in Richmond, or are you going to start a whole new plan on the south side of the island? Issues like this, but we want to know what are you going to do, because if not, you know, these hundreds of millions of dollars could very easily be retrieved by Washington, D.C. and say, well, like, hey, if you don't have a use for it, we've got, you know, I need for it. But it's almost $1 billion that they're getting for the Virgin Islands for WAPA, and we need to hear from these potential new governors. What do you plan to do, or do you have any plans for Stu? What are you going to do with all of these hundreds of millions of dollars to improve our situation with WAPA? And that's why I interrupted you, because we want that to be done urgently between now and November, to hear from these candidates for governor. What are you going to do with this almost $1 billion that you're given to improve WAPA?
So let me ask a question. So if they're giving this kind of money, right? But who is going to be receiving these monies? Is it going to be the same Carl Knight, the board members? You know, these people that's on these boards, that's on these committees that have.
Well, we would like to get to the bottom of it. The money is already at hand. It is there for WAPA to use. It is a total of what is 700 million?
It's 600 for St. Croix and 300 for St. Thomas,
so
a total of 900 million.
$900 million, almost $1 billion. We want to hear from these potential governors. What do you plan to do with it? I want to hear it now.
Right.
Okay, I got you.
Because we want to know, because we are, you know, committed to vote for a new governor in November.
Okay, exactly.
That is the urgency with that day.
Okay, I got you on that one. All right. I'll keep up with that one too.
Please.
And the thing with what you bring up about the birthright, if you can get phone numbers, like the phone number to this congressman or phone
Okay.
number to any other congress people that might be influential, that you could give out so people can call and let their feelings be known.
Got you. All right, guys. Have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
thank you, thank you so much for your call. Don't give up on us.
Of course not.
All right, okay, all right. The last word.
Well, I think we've said what needs to be said. So it's now to try to arrange this debate. I think that's the next step. It's very good idea.
I'm going to lean on my boss.
Right. And I think they will also see that it's a good idea. I think we will
It's an
probably
urgent
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
I like that word.
Right, urgent.
Urgent.
If they don't, then we know something is up. It's even more so we need to know what's going on. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Thank you.
Beloved, lick your cream because after ice cream is just so good for your soul. We're back. And beloved, in less than 15 minutes, beautiful Aisha will be taking center stage, and we will be having our Crucian history question for today. In the meantime, beloved, I think what we've come to confront the reality that, beloved, we get an endless supply of candidates for governor, lieutenant governor, for delegate to Congress, and for senators. I mean, but I don't know that recorded, but I'm sure that between St. Croix and St. Thomas, we get more than 50 candidates for the 15 positions in the legislature. I'm certain, man. Well, I'm saying I'm certain, I don't know, but I believe it's probably as many as 50 candidates for those 15 positions there. But the point is, we don't have a lack of candidates. We get more than enough candidates. But Lord Harry the Judge, beloved, point me to one. Just point one out who is talking about inside out cultivation, meaning talking about developing our people. And don't remember what it was concerning, but early in the program, we had occasion to mention David Hamilton Jackson. But the fact of the matter is that, beloved, that's like 100 years ago when the St. Croix Labor Union was the first legal labor union in the entire region of the Caribbean. St. Croix. We led the way. That was inside out cultivation. In the last 100 years, from the 1920s to where we are now in the 2020s, tell me, what solutions are any of these candidates offering to the truckload of problems that we have? This is why we found it urgent to try and get debates in place with these gubernatorial candidates to tell us what do they plan to do with this almost $1 billion dedicated from government. Good afternoon.
Yeah, come back, myself.
Tell me quickly because we
Yeah, that's a lot of money, and I just want to read something wrong. It goes for Black Barrel. Just listen.
all right, I listen.
Yeah, brothers and sisters, educators. When it comes to education, most everything that we hold dear has failed in cultivation. That's it.
I hear you. Beloved, we have done next to nothing to improve our situation as a people in the last 100 years. Our ancestors would be ashamed of us that with so little they were able to do so much. Here we are with so much, and what have we accomplished? Where is the inside out cultivation? How are we improving our situation as a people? Help me out, help me. Because, beloved, I don't know how it is that since 1970, which is now more than 50 years, more than a half a century, we have been electing our own government, which is what we're getting ready to do in November. We're going to be electing a new governor and lieutenant governor, a new administration for the next 4 years. And with all this campaign that's taking place, where are the solutions? A whole bunch of promises. We're going to get better health care. How? We are going to get better education. How? Beloved, are we getting these generalities? But when you ask the question, well, how are you going to do this? Tell us your plan. How do you plan to improve the health care? How do you plan to improve our education system? And here we're talking, you got $900 million for WAPA. Can we hear from these candidates for governor? How do they plan to use this $900 million to help WAPA? Tell us, what are you going to do? And beloved, this is what we've come to. Truckload of candidates. But no solutions. And we are right now in the home stretch to decide which of these candidates would be the nominee for governor with the Democratic Party. We have 3 teams. And we have to vote for one of them to be the nominee that will go up against what it is. I don't know, must be 4 or 5 independent candidates. Beloved, where are the solutions? Where are they? I don't know. But we are now ready for the boss to give us a give us the opportunity to come up with the crucial history question, and I think I got a good one for the season that we find ourselves in here. But beloved, lick your cream because Armstrong ice cream is just so good for your soul. Of it, and as you can see, there is beautiful Aisha. She is center stage and she is prepared.
Yes.
She says, if you give the correct answer to this crucial history question, she is going to compliment you with one full quart of your favorite flavor of Amsterdam ice cream. I will keep telling you, beloved, not even a black water stick you can beat that. So, are you ready? I hear you. Say yes, you're ready. Okay. Beloved, the name Herbert D. Brown of the Bureau of Efficiency. You have heard me talk about Herbert Brown many times before. And the report that he gave to the Secretary of Interior in 1930. In his report, this is Herbert D. Brown of the Bureau of Efficiency reporting to his boss, the Secretary of Interior in 1930. 1930. That is what? 96 years ago. 1930. And Herbert Brown reported to the Secretary of Interior in 1930 that homesteading can make St. Croix self-supporting. Did you hear that, beloved? This is Mr. Brown reporting to the Secretary of Interior in 1930 that homesteading could make St. Croix self-supporting. Now, have you ever heard any candidate here talk about homesteading? Nah. Again, inside out cultivation, homesteading. Beloved, one newspaper reported on Mr. Herbert Brown's report to the Department of Interior. I want you to tell me the name of that newspaper. It's a Virgin Island newspaper. Tell me, what was that newspaper that reported on Mr. Herbert Brown's report that homesteading could make St. Croix self-supporting? What Virgin Islands newspaper carried that report? Name the newspaper. Let us know. Because it's Herbert D. Brown of the Bureau of Efficiency. This is his report to the Secretary. This is his report to the Department of Interior. To the Department of Interior. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. I give it the first try, Mr.
Try your best.
1930, sir?
1930. All right. The report came out in 1930. But this newspaper that covered it was issued February 16, 1931.
Oh,
The next year.
next year. I don't think that's Hamilton Port, the Herald. I would say it's the West End Herald. That's the name?
West End Herald? The West End Herald.
Yeah, I think that was
Well, you tell me what you want to call it. That's the question. What newspaper, what Virgin Island newspaper carried this report that St. Croix could be self-supporting using homesteading?
The Western Herald. That's what I said.
We come again. All right. So, beloved, That's what we want to know. What newspaper carried this story that Mr. Howard D. Brown of the Bureau of Efficiency made his report to the Department of Interior? And that report said that homesteading, you heard me, homesteading could make St. Croix self-supported. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mario. Welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back, my son.
Yeah, good. You have me with Joel. You're welcome. Okay, I would say the St. Croix Tribune.
You would say the St. Croix Tribune. Yes, sir. You're showing your scholarship, boss. You're showing your birth. I love it. But I gotta tell you, we not come again.
All right. Mario,
No.
could you tell me what the first caller said?
The father said Western. You said
the
West.
Western News.
Yeah, the Western News. And let me
Okay,
just
all right,
say that. Let me just make sure I hear you say Virgin Island newspaper, because you are thinking it's a St. Croix newspaper. No, I'm not telling you it's not a St. Croix newspaper, but I'm saying Virgin Island newspaper. Okay, good thing. We and come again.
All right.
Yes, beloved. And this is what does trouble me, because Lord Harry, the judgment. I mean, we were successful when the federal government helped us to get homesteading. That is how so many people got homes in Wim, in Princess. We got another card. Good afternoon.
Yeah, Mario, welcome back, man.
Thank you. I missed you all, man.
Yeah, man, I make you a little more, you know what I mean? So my answer on this, the Home Journal.
The Home Journal, you got St. Thomas, and okay. But you still got to wheel and come again. All right. Good afternoon. What is the name of the newspaper that carried the story saying that homesteading could make St. Croix self-supported? The St. Croix Avis. I wish I could say yes. You got to wheel and come again. All right. I am looking for the newspaper that carried the story.
Yeah, Mario, I would say the St. Thomas Herald.
You would say the St. Thomas Herald. Well, I'm glad you reached St. Thomas, but you still got to wheel and come again. All right.
Okay.
Yes, beloved. A newspaper. There's the one and only newspaper that reported it. Matter of fact, the issue is, what was it? February 16, 1931 is when this story was reported. And beloved, I suppose that I don't know what else to say, but St. Croix, the newspaper that St. Croix didn't think it was important enough to carry in their paper to let us know that the Bureau of Efficiency in Washington, D.C. thought that homesteading would make St. Croix self-supported. What a thing, eh? Good afternoon.
Okay, I have it.
All right.
It's the St. Croix Tribune.
It's the St. Croix Tribune. Unfortunately, we had a caller that said St. Croix Tribune already. And I said to them, wheel and come again.
All right.
All
I'll try
right.
again.
Yeah, okay. Yes, beloved. This is something that is very timely because, beloved, if we were in a debate and I was one of the moderators, I would ask the candidates for governor, I would say, how is it that none of you ever talk about homesteading? How come you don't talk about homesteading here? And it was a very successful program here. How come? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, man. Tell me what newspaper I'm looking for.
The Daily News in St. Thomas.
The Daily News in St. Thomas is the paper I'm looking for. Wheel and come again.
All right.
I got you. I got you. All right. Yes, beloved. What newspaper carried that? What newspaper carried that? Hmm? And beloved, it was Mr. Hobart Brown of the Bureau of Efficiency who actually said in his report that St. Croix could be self-supported if we only adapted, what was it? Homesteading. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Yeah. I say it's the Emancipator.
You say it is the Emancipator, and I say you are absolutely correct. That is the newspaper that carried the story, the Emancipator. Correct, 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 correct. And now, you know how we just do this thing here, man. Give me your full name.
From the land.
I should have known, but I guess I've been away so long I missed your voice. All right. And you're still going for your rum raisin.
You don't stick with the rum raisin.
You stick with the rum raisin. Well, I mean, you got me. I'm laughing because, you know, when I heard the voice, I said, sounds familiar. And I'm kicking myself in the butt and I said, how you say it sounds familiar and you don't remember the land's voice? You know, so it's only been a month. But I am really laughing at myself. But congratulations to you. You are, if we had a title that we give you would be Scholar Emeritus. You are Scholar Emeritus on this program here because the way you do it and you're so cool with it, Mr. Deland, as I said, I am proud of you. Do you by any chance know who was the publisher of the Emancipator? You win already. You win already. I will tell you if you don't know.
No, just tell me, man.
Rothschild Francis.
Okay.
Rothschild Francis was the publisher of that newspaper called The Emancipator. So you could add that to your files.
I sure will.
I sure will. Well, congratulations to you once again. Enjoy your rum raisin ice cream, beloved. Mr. Clifford Deland, once again, has given us the correct answer. The newspaper that carried the story was The Emancipator, published by Rachel Francis in St. Thomas. And the story was that St. Croix could be self-supported if they only adapted homesteading. Thank you so much, Mr. Deland. Congratulations to you once again.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Beloved, tell me now, why is it that we never hear a candidate for governor? And we have enough of them. We have enough of them. Never, mention homesteading. Matter of fact, they don't have any solutions at all. Why is that? And we continue to vote for them. And they don't just give us generalities. Like we got problem with the hospital. So they said, vote for me because I will improve healthcare. And you say, you will improve healthcare? How? They don't tell us how. They just said, vote for me because I am going to improve healthcare or education. They say this. I am going to, dedicate myself to improving the educational system in the Virgin Islands. And then we vote for it. But they never give us a solution. Just a very general answer like that. It says, hey, we are going to do something about education. But no. Well, beloved, in today's history question, we were able, we got a car in. Good. Oh, I'm sorry. Put the wrong one. Good afternoon.
But we want them to talk about homesteading and we don't got hurricane on here.
I'll stop it now, man.
They put the home can't stay steady.
I hear what's the what? What's the what? You know me. You hear what that said? We don't get hurricane, and some of them there is category 5. How the home will be steady when you got hurricane coming? Well, that's a reason why we need to have a debate. That's why we need to have a debate. So I could ask them, Mr. Roach, or Miss Plaskett, or any one of them answers. How could we have homesteading when we just got category 5 hurricanes and them kind of things? So
I say the thief and money for money to the game. Let me know game. What they forget the Trump, did it?
Trump. Oh, yeah.
What to the plane?
I don't know, son.
Oh, send back the plane for you want hurry to get a plane. They're telling you it'll take a year to get all the ingredients.
Hurry down, eat rabbit, son.
You have to eat steel pigtail. Cook pigtail. Hunter belly.
Hunter belly.
Yeah, hunter belly.
The man say, I want to show up the plane.
Yeah, but when he hears something, and I said, no. Take back the plane and something, they're coming too close. I got to get some information and my grandson, because he just come back from Minnesota.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he went, the man, the college trail for football, he only 16 years.
What? 16 and it? What?
Yeah, man, that man sent free.
No wonder they'll call you super dad, son. I don't know what they call me. They got your business, but what they call beloved. He was using some kind of bush he was drinking or something, son. Because how you produce all of these things, right? 2 football players is more than enough. Anybody in the world.
I know, my grandson. I know.
Well, my peace.
The one that them and see by the bar thing. And the one was supposed to go away to play professional bar when he get shoot by Carlos.
Yeah. Well, my peace.
Yeah.
Well, my peace. That's why they look at you for that person, you know.
And then I got next one in Grove. Well, we got three of them to play with basic. The fellow Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Positive guidance or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandson ended up there with it.
What's that thing, you know?
And this black man grandson too.
You good, my son. You good.
Well,
You.
well, I got to send out condolences to the Charles family, you know.
All right.
That's Pumpkin Brother, you know.
Okay.
It's the daughter for.
Yeah, well, I join you with that. I condolences. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to do that. And I thought, boy, I feel like I came when I make some pop and I hear. I miss the song on I miss that one. But that's why I'm about to.
Beloved, you used to find that. You hear it? Are you hearing it?
I'm glad I get to the age that they told those I don't have to dance so much.
You don't know.
And I say I can't get you there. I did 3/4 now.
You're living good, man. You're living good.
The 23rd of June, I made the 75.
Ay. Yes, sir. Hey. Yes, sir. You definitely yes, sir. That's 3/4. Yes, sir.
I get close to you, but then, you know.
Very good. I don't slow down.
We're moving our soon, you know. Far away again. But I get a little closer, you know.
Yes, sir. I
We
got it.
got to put and think we're going to restrict between me and you.
Beloved, I hear it for that. If you go to know, if you really good.
Oh, well, Mrs. Lady, back to more come here Saturday by me to talk the whole day story.
I hear you. All right. Ricardo, man.
Yeah, so she come in. She was to come someday, but then she had tied up, you know.
Okay. All right.
She won't tie it up too tight, you know. But anyway, I'll stay listening until you get down. Yeah,
All right, man. Okay, super. Dad. Take care, man. Take care. All right. Good thing. Oh, Lord, beloved. What a television. Oh, yeah. Let me see now. Got to write down this thing. Clifford Deland is the man. Clifford Deland. Got to make sure I write that down there. He wanted to get his rum raisin ice cream because he is the correct answer. The newspaper that carried the story about St. Croix being self-supported by using homesteading was the St. Thomas newspaper. And Mr. Deland, he knew that. And he told us the name of the newspaper was the Emancipator. And he was absolutely correct. The newspaper was the Emancipator, and that was a newspaper that was published by no other than Mr. Rothschild Francis. So, beloved, there you have it. Nearly 100 years later, and we got endless of candidates who want to be governor of the Virgin Islands. Matter of fact, since 1970, when our colonizers gave us the authority to elect our own government, we don't elect 9. We are on our way to number 10. Come November, we will be electing our 10th governor. And imagine that now. Not a one of those 10, because I counted more than 10 here, because if you add in all the candidates, the candidates about 6, 7, or 8 of them are together. But beloved, isn't it shameful that we get this authority from our colonizers in Washington, D.C.? They say, go ahead, man, go ahead. Elect your own government. You could have self-government. Go ahead. And yet, beloved, look at us now. We have never had a government. We have never had a government to offer homesteading as a solution to our problems. Isn't it shameful? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's kind of funny that was your question for today.
Why?
Because I had a paper sitting in my back pocket to talk about the drought in case our discussion about the electricity power went too short.
Yeah.
I looked at we're in a big drought right now.
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, green grass is now brown grass.
Right. And so I had Googled what is the worst droughts for the Virgin Islands, and one of the sites that came up, apparently there is a government site that tracks droughts.
Yeah.
That's droughts.gov.
Yeah.
So they came up with 5 years that they have as the worst droughts. The first one is in 1737. Then the next one they have is 1964 to 1967. Apparently it went on for years. Then nothing until the 2000s. 2015, 2020, 2023 that they had. So 3 times in the 2000s.
Yeah.
And I had already been seeing a correlation between the ones in the 2000s, between when the government would make some sort of a big move with marijuana, we would have a drought following that. And so I went back and looked at the other 2 dates. And I find that it's whenever we do something contrary dealing with agriculture, we have a drought. So the very first one was in 1736. 1737. In 1736, that's when the Danish started to settle St. Croix for agriculture, following the slave rebellion in 1733. I think you and I had a discussion about this already.
Okay.
That the Danish farmers didn't want to go back to St. John after the revolt.
Right.
And so the Danes decided to start to settle St. Croix, because they really weren't doing much with St. Croix before then. So that's when, like you said, the Christiansted were developed, and they started sugarcane, production on St. Croix, which did more, slaves, and they were using the sugarcane for sugar and alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following year, a drought. Then in 1964 was the next, to 67 was the next drought. This was after they were pushing farmers off the land and into Harvey aluminum, and Hessor.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had discussions about that
Yes.
before. You were saying that they took off the roofs off of the off of the homes of the farmers,
Yeah.
and then they also dumped the plows, plows and whatnot into the ocean, creating an artificial reef
Okay.
because they wanted them to go work for Harvey and
Could you?
and Hess.
Yeah. Could you
You
hold
say
on? Yeah. No, we need to take the top of the hour break. That's what.
Okay. Yes, that's right.
Are you willing to hold on?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, because I have the ones in the 2000s to talk about.
Yes, you brought us up with the 1964 one.
Right.
Okay. So if we're gonna put you on hold, lick your cream, beloved, because Amsterdam ice cream is just so good for your soul.
Yes.
Thank you,
So,
thank you,
so
thank you,
I'm
thank
saying-
you. We're
No
moving away from
No, no,
1960s.
Right. So every time we do something contrary to food production, we end up with a drought. So I gave you two things, 1736, where we do a clearing land and develop a syncroid to produce sugarcane for rum and sugar, not for general food production. Then the 1960s, we are shutting down, forcing the farmers off the farm to go work for the refineries, aluminum and oil. Now in the 20, so then everything's quiet for a while. And then in 2014, we decriminalized the simple possession of marijuana and started moving towards medical marijuana. They put it on the ballot and it was approved by a small portion, or most people didn't vote on it. Then we have a drought in the next year. 2015 is considered the worst drought of the decade, caused widespread cistern and whatnot loss, stress in livestock and crops. Then we have in 2017 they reintroduced the medical marijuana bill. It's passed in 2018, and then in 2020 we have a severe drought. Again, stress to crops and whatnot. Then in 2023, the governor signs the recreational bill, and we have a drought that year, over a prolonged period. And us farmers are saying they lost 50% of, they had a 50% drop in eggs and crop production. Then now we are supposed to be getting the first dispensary opened up this fall, so sometime between September and November, they're expecting to open up one on St. Croix and one on St. Thomas. And we are in what many describe as the worst drought ever. And if I want to say what about marijuana would fall into this? Well, it's the same thing. We're using our water and whatnot resources to grow marijuana instead of food. Just like back in the very first major drought, where we're going to there were days we're trying to use the land for sugar cane for sugar and alcohol. There's a clear pattern. I can't say that there's any scientific link to it. I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you there's a pattern. And there are many things like that. In fact, there's a lot of things in physics that we don't understand, but we know it's there. It's been documented.
Right.
There's a clear record of it. There's nobody doubts that it occurs. We just can't explain it. There's things called particle annihilation. When an electron meets a positron, which is basically the same thing as an electron, but with a positive charge. When they connect, they disappear, and you get two photons, light instead. Nobody understands how that happens, but we know it happens. It's been documented over and over. So there are many things that there isn't a real explanation to, but it has been documented. It's happened. And so if you go back and look at I told you the website, you can find when the major clouds have happened in the Virgin Islands. And then you could go and see, Google again, which is what I did, see what was happening during that time period. And you see the same thing over and over and over again. These five, now this is the sixth time. Personally, I take it as this is God telling us something. Just like with Jonah and Nineveh, he went and warned them, and they corrected their behavior, and things were fine. And then you also have Sodom and Gomorrah with Abraham, where he went and told them that God wasn't pleased with what they were doing, and they didn't listen. And disaster followed. I think you've been getting a lot of warnings. Stop using God's resources to feel good. and use the resources to feed yourself and others. You know, you hear the farmers complaining constantly, saying they can't get water, they can't get equipment. The government isn't helping them. But that same government is helping others grow wheat, bending over backwards.
I hear you. I wonder how. Well, why don't you comment on what thought that's occupying my cognition is like? Well, when did this? What is it? 150 square miles altogether that constitutes this unincorporated territory of the Virgin Islands. How did we become so important to God and everybody else that
Well, I would say any place that occupies people, from what my understanding of God, any place that occupies people is important to him.
fine, but again, yes, but in other words, are we saying that we are somehow the tip of the spear in this movement with marijuana?
I wouldn't say the tip of the spear. Like other places, like many places in the States have done
I
more.
would think so.
But they also got the same warning signs.
They, well, talk to me a little bit about that then. Okay.
So they got warning signs, not the same, but they got warning signs.
All right. Well, that satisfied me a little bit already, because that's what I, see, as you were, give the dates and things, I say, yes, makes sense, but when in the world did this tiny little place, become so prominent?
That was appropriate warning sign for us.
Okay.
One that we should have been awakened.
Okay.
As a person we say is important.
Okay.
And to us. So if he's doing stuff that affects agriculture, then it should have awakened us real early.
Right.
It may not have awakened other places in the other states. But for us in our history, we should have seen this pattern. Because this is stuff that we should have been looking at and paying attention to based on our history. So I guess he uses what he thinks people are more likely to pay attention to.
Okay.
Yeah, but we are not. We are we're getting droughts that are not normal. We're acknowledging that they're not normal. But we're not seeing, is there anything that in our behavior that could be connected to it? Just like, and like, what's his name? Al Gore was warning people about global warming, and everybody was laughing at it. And they were saying, it's just something. And in fact, South Park did an episode about him and laughing at him. And years later, they had to come back and do another episode apologizing to it. Because what he was warning happened.
Okay.
And so I don't think we're paying attention in so many different ways to what is happening to us in life and coming up with ideas to deal with them. Try to correct our behavior when we see that what we're doing is not going in a good direction.
Okay.
And then to come up with something that is positive that will, lead us into a thing. And again, crop production. And marijuana takes up a lot of water. A lot more than many other plants.
Okay.
So we are not planting and using our water to grow things that are healthy for us. We're planning to use our water to grow something that is known not to be healthy. There's over 200 papers and research articles about the problems with THC. And I just ran into one, Genlock. Denmark did a study, the largest scale study on THC. Involved over 6 million people. They keep, as we know, they keep real good records. We've heard about the records from what happened in the Britain. Denmark is the one place that I know country that keeps the best records. So each person gets an ID number, and so they went back over the years and looked at the people's based on their ID number, what their health issues were. From 1971 to 22 or somewhere around there. So over 50 years. And what they came back with is, yes, marijuana, let's just say THC. THC is the issue, not CBD. And there's many types of marijuana with varying amounts of THC. So THC is what they're talking about. And they have found that there's a definite correlation between that and schizophrenia and about 3 different types of depression.
Wow.
And this is the largest, there's other studies that have shown this, but this one is a massive study, over 6 million people. And they said there is no doubt that there is a connection. It doesn't happen for everybody, but that's the case for most things. But it happens to us, they were saying about somewhere around 20% of users end up with schizophrenia or depression or a mixture of those things. And this is what basically verifying what the other 200 studies have shown, that there's a problem with people and THC. Not everybody, but enough people to cause societal problems. And so again, a lot of people we see on the street, what they're suffering from is schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is when you hallucinate. You hear things and see things that are not there. So the people talking to themselves, the people acting weird. To them, they're not acting because they see something and they're responding to what they see. The only problem is that thing isn't really there. Nobody else is seeing it. So we think their behavior is strange.
Okay.
And so in any case, I'm just being Jonah. I'm not getting swallowed by any big fish.
Okay.
If God shows me something, I'm gonna let people know what I see.
All right.
And it's up to them. I'm also not gonna get my fish tree dried up. I'm not gonna go on and then complain based on their reaction. I say what I see. They decide to do what they want to do. And even in this drought, my fig trees are doing very well. I get rain from time to time, enough to maintain them. And my mango trees are bare. And so I'm getting enough rain. I'm okay.
Okay. All right. Well, we got another caller here, but very, very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting.
All right. Just wanted to share what I see.
And we appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good day, Mario. How are you?
Thank God for life, man. Holding on here. Glad to be back.
Your legs on the streets, man. Good to hear your voice.
Yes, sir.
About the energy,
Right?
250 years.
Yes, sir.
Still can't get this greatest American time and can't get what deserves. We will give it to Israel before we get compensated. Isn't that something?
Yes, indeed.
Everybody
Yeah.
in the world get compensated for the real people.
Right, right.
But they're showing it blatantly in our face.
Yeah.
The really game. Boy, them executive are really got to work, boy. When you really watch what's going on, know what the agenda is, where the money's flowing, what's really happening. Yeah, those council touch base, I know you stay up on your current events, the world events, consumer, etc.
Trying.
For the full.
Yeah.
what is about us as the people, when we, the people, are going to do what's right
All right.
for the real American.
Yes, sir.
But be blessed. I was touching base on.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah.
Soon come, man. Elder Street, man. Much love, man.
Yes, I. Love flower, respect. Yes, I.
Yeah, man. All right, give them. Yeah, no, Mario.
Yeah.
I know we lost another great one, right? Another boss, God. Another some good people in the world, and we lose a lot of them. Who is to do? Today, here, tomorrow we go.
Make the best of it, listen. Make the best of it.
And so forth.
Right?
Yeah, man. And
Stay strong.
condolences to them and the family. Yeah, be blessed.
Condolences. Stay strong.
Yeah, man.
And beloved, well, like I said, it has been a full month. Hard to believe that, but yes, we're off for a full month, and beloved, still feel excited. But when I came on at 12:30, it was like I don't know, like I was 10 years old or something like that. I mean, I was just so excited to be back on air because the truth be told, I missed the programming. I missed my beloved audience. And I'm just glad to be back. That's all I can say. Good afternoon.
Yeah, but this is the last. I'm glad you're back to because these are things we wouldn't hear from the other time or even then good for nothing. 900. Don't laugh, man.
I will laugh, but I will laugh, yes.
When I was reading the thing, right?
Yeah,
Mr. Farrakhan are trying to tell us
yeah,
that the degree that the enemy give we,
yeah,
it's not the degree to cultivate or make you, give the talent that God gave you.
yeah.
It's for them to tell, to say, well, I got this degree and, I am, degree to, how should I say this to you? But, yes, what we got here or what you give us, as you would say, or what we went to court, we don't know who we be. According to the books of that, we always have to be productive every day, whether you're physically doing it or you're learning, mentally.
I hear you.
It helps me a lot because that's the way how I look keep them. The enemy after me to know that we are people that are capable of developing, a sustainable culture and, being educated, the way to, to sustain ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. So, again, nice to have you back.
Nice being back, my son. That's what I said a bit. But like a little 10-year-old here on a birthday party. I'm so excited when I come back but I had to admit it, but I miss it. So glad to be back, man. Thank you.
Let me see if we're going to hear anything about this, what's this, 900,
$900 million,
Yeah,
almost $1 billion.
yeah.
That they gave to yes. I got stand that case, yeah, man.
I'm going to have to do the whole thing.
Give thanks, man. Stay strong. All right. Yeah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We got a minute.
Good to see you back.
Thank you.
And it's good to hear you. That's what I want to say. You sound healthy, sound rested, sound strong. Give thanks and many more blessings. We're speaking, already speaking with you on time. But it's such a pleasure. You're my teacher. And
You make my day.
give thanks.
Give thanks indeed. Take care of yourself. We need you.
Okay, I say.
Ashe, much love. And yes, beloved, that is how we end our first program back after, I don't know what to call it. But believe me, beloved,
Hiatus.
Bath is our hiatus. You know, so that's what he called it. But indeed, it was a hiatus, and I am just glad to be back. I am just too glad to be back. Can't put it into words. So, beloved, I would say, as we always do at the end, lick your cream, because I'm sure ice cream is just so good for your soul. But always remember, beloved, there just is no basket so big that we can't fill it up in. One, we can fill up that basket just as long as we do it too.